Don't you understand, Xavier? I am not here to threaten you, but to warn you. Zara and her kind, the humans, will never accept you. They fear you, a prince of the ocean, something they cannot control. Do you think your friendship can change that?
Deep beneath the ocean's surface, a prince torn between two worlds. On land, a brave girl longing for freedom. But when darkness rises from the sea, how will they face destiny as it pushes them to the brink of life and death? The tale of courage and betrayal is about to begin. In a stunning coastal city in California, where the sun always shines brightly and the waves caress the sandy shores with gentle sounds, blending with the whispers of the breeze rustling through the lush palm trees, the sky is a vast, clear expanse, like an enormous silk canvas, occasionally dotted with white clouds drifting lazily, akin to unfinished dreams. Yet few know that beneath these serene waves lies a mysterious kingdom known only to mythical beings, a realm of legend unheard of by those on land. Beneath the shimmering silver waves exists a world unlike any other, a place of ancient coral castles perched precariously, miraculous underwater streams, and magnificent sea creatures. A realm where light and shadow intertwine. Within this kingdom lives a young prince, a figure admired and beloved by all underwater creatures, named Xavier. Xavier is no ordinary heir. He is the only son of King Malik, a strong, powerful ruler held in high regard by all who dwell in the ocean. King Malik governs this deep-sea kingdom with unparalleled wisdom and vision. Under the water, every marine creature looks up to Xavier as the epitome of leadership and strength. His skin gleams like silver, his jet-black hair shines like the night, and his dazzling fishtail glimmers under the sunlight. As Xavier swims gracefully past coral reefs, the scales on his body radiate light, illuminating everything around him. From playful dolphins to majestic swordfish and wise turtles, all admire and adore Xavier. He is the pride not only of his family, but of the entire kingdom. Every sea creature sees him as a great heir and the hope for the future. Never before has there been someone like him in the kingdom, a perfect prince in everyone's eyes. However, beneath this image, Xavier's heart is restless. He loves and respects his father, but his father's words about life underwater leave him feeling uneasy. Though Xavier has everything one could desire, power, respect, and a peaceful life in the ocean, he feels an emptiness, something he cannot grasp. It is the world beyond the sea. Every time he looks up at the sky, at the fluffy white clouds drifting by, Xavier cannot help but wonder, do I truly belong here? Could the world out there be where I find my true self? What awaits me on land that I have never known? King Malik, his father, always tries to keep him within the underwater kingdom. The ocean is our home, Xavier, he would say sternly. We are beings of the sea, not the land. Everything out there is dangerous and tempting. We need nothing but the ocean. This is where we belong, and you must understand that. These words echo in Xavier's mind, like a cold sound, an irrefutable warning. Yet strangely, every time he hears these words from his father, instead of feeling reassured, his heart grows more restless and uneasy. The inexplicable yearning for the outside world grows stronger each day. Xavier loves his father and understands that his father only wants to protect him from unseen dangers out there. However, as he grows older, the yearning to explore the world beyond the ocean becomes irresistible. If I continue to live within what my father has planned for me, will I ever truly find myself? Or will I just be part of a world I have never fully understood? He questions himself, his heart troubled with questions that seem to have no answers. This yearning cannot be extinguished. Xavier cannot stop thinking about the world above the water. Despite the vastness, strength, and life of the ocean, part of him always feels confined. Each time he gazes at the sky, watching the clouds drift overhead or the golden rays of the sunset glide across the sea, he wonders if something awaits him beyond the ocean. A world of lush greenery, towering mountains, and people with stories he has never heard. Still, every time he tries to seek answers to these questions, he feels bound by his father's expectations and the legacy King Malik has built over the years. The invisible walls in his mind grow thicker, making him feel an incomprehensible loneliness. Xavier cannot stop thinking about the unknown. He feels an indescribable longing, a dream he has not yet reached but is always within his grasp. The world out there, a place he has only heard of through vague tales from sea creatures who ventured to the shore. It is a place no one can fully understand, but also a place where Xavier feels he might find himself, a place that promises wonders he has never dared to imagine. With each passing day, these emotions grow stronger, urging Xavier to rise and step out of his comfort zone. He cannot continue to live in the shadow of the ocean. One day, he will have to confront the fears within himself and overcome the warnings to seek answers to questions that remain unresolved. Meanwhile, the sea continues to caress the shore, and Xavier still stands there, his eyes fixed on the distant horizon, a place of uncertainty but also filled with promise and hope. On a radiant golden afternoon, as the sunset painted the California coast in mesmerizing shades of red and orange, Xavier stood alone near the water's edge, his eyes fixed on the distant city. There, skyscrapers rose against the horizon, their lights beginning to twinkle like stars scattered across the earth. The waves gently kissed the shore, creating a soothing melody, their rhythm like a beckoning call. Yet Xavier's mind was clouded with unspoken questions and an undefined yearning for the world beyond. He couldn't shake the longing to escape the underwater kingdom he called home, feeling his existence become faint and undefined. In that seemingly tranquil moment, a figure caught his attention. It was a girl playing with children on the beach, her black hair gleaming under the sun and her radiant brown skin glowing with an inner light. She wasn't a stranger to Xavier's eyes, but her presence felt like a breath of fresh air, bringing a strange newness to everything around him. Her name was Zara, a courageous, strong and dreamy young woman with a sparkle in her eyes, like stars illuminating the night sky. Standing on the sandy shore, Zara gazed at the sea with a dreamy expression, as if she could hear the ocean's whispers, sounds only souls yearning for freedom could truly understand. Zara wasn't like others in her village. Though her family lived modestly in simple homes near the beach, she harbored grand dreams. Dreams of breaking through the small walls of her life to explore the vast, challenging world beyond. On quiet nights, Zara would lie beneath the open sky dreaming of adventures, of distant horizons she had never seen. She often imagined herself as part of that vast world, woven into the fabric of great stories she had only heard from travelers and wanderers who spoke of magical things. What made Zara truly special, however, wasn't just her dreams. She was kind-hearted, always willing to lend a helping hand to the younger children in her community. She never hesitated to assist them with their studies, help with small chores, or simply share stories during quiet moments. She brought joy and warmth wherever she went, much like the waves gently soothing the shore each day. Zara was loved by everyone because she never asked for help, but was always ready to give. In the evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Zara would often come to the beach to commune with the waves. She stood among the rocks, watching the waves crash against the shore, feeling the ocean's grandeur. Sometimes, she thought the waves could understand her, hear the words she wished to say, but could never share with anyone else. In those moments, Zara felt connected to a vast, unseen world, a world no one could reach but one that held immense hope and the promise of wondrous things. Xavier couldn't take his eyes off her. For the first time, he felt a strange connection he had never experienced before. He couldn't explain why Zara had such a profound impact on his heart. Though he had only just seen her, her presence seemed to fill his thoughts entirely. Xavier's eyes sparkled, and a peculiar feeling stirred within him, difficult to describe but impossible to ignore. He knew it wasn't love, not in the way he had imagined love before, but there was something extraordinary about Zara, something inexplicable yet undeniably important. His curiosity about this girl wasn't just about her captivating appearance. It was also about the stories she brought to life in her interactions with the children, tales of bravery, dreams, and hope. In Xavier's world, everything was predetermined, every path already laid out, with no room for randomness. But with Zara, everything felt different. She was a unique individual, part of a world Xavier had never dared to approach. Every word, every glance from her carried mysteries he couldn't resist exploring. Zara had no idea that Xavier's eyes were watching her from the water, but she could sense something unusual in the air. The waves seemed to rise with greater vigor, and a feeling of unease stirred in her heart. Was the ocean calling to her? Or were these merely her vague thoughts about the wonders the sea might hold? In that moment, she couldn't explain the feeling, but it was so strong that she couldn't walk away. One fateful afternoon, as Zara stood by the shore, surrounded by children at play, she noticed a figure emerging from the water. It was Xavier, who had been silently observing her from afar for a long time. She felt a peculiar, curious gaze from him, as though he wished to say something but couldn't find the words. That look sent a shiver down her spine, yet she couldn't deny it made her heart beat faster. Finally, Xavier decided to step out of the shadows of his thoughts and approach Zara. Slowly, he walked toward her, unable to conceal the nervousness in his eyes. Never before had he felt such unfamiliarity when standing near someone, but this time, with Zara, he couldn't resist the urge to know more. Summoning courage she didn't know she had, Zara smiled and greeted Xavier. "Hello, I'm Zara," she said, her voice gentle yet confident, as if she had been preparing for this moment her entire life. From that moment, something began to grow between them, an inexplicable connection, a bond between two vastly different worlds, where untold stories were just beginning to unfold. The sun began to set, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and red, its light reflecting off the ocean, creating golden streaks that sparkled like precious gems. Zara, the brave young woman, once again stepped into the cool waters of the sea. This was her sanctuary, where she felt the freest, where she could leave behind the worries of daily life. Here the waves soothed her heart, bringing her a sense of peace. She often swam close to the shore, allowing herself to drift in the clear waters and lose herself in the rhythm of the waves. But today the ocean seemed different. Suddenly, a powerful wave surged, pulling Zara further from the shore. The current was strong, like invisible hands dragging her away from the safety she had always known. Her first reaction was panic, followed by despair. She tried to swim back, but each wave grew stronger, carrying her farther away. Seawater filled her mouth, making it impossible to breathe. She couldn't control herself, and in that moment, Zara felt as though she was sinking to the depths of the ocean, abandoned in the vast darkness. When her desperation reached its peak, a shadow emerged from beneath the water. Everything happened too quickly. Before she could understand what was happening, a strong hand reached out from below, pulling her up to the surface. Zara stared in shock at the young man before her, water dripping from his body, sunlight reflecting off his smooth, radiant skin. He had an otherworldly beauty, unlike anyone she had ever seen on land. He was not human, but neither did he resemble any sea creature she had ever heard of. Zara's first reaction was fear, but deep within, she felt an inexplicable sense of safety in his presence. When she regained consciousness, lying on a large rock near the shore, her breaths were shallow and laboured. Her body still ached from the ordeal, but she was no longer at the mercy of the current. Zara struggled to sit up, scanning her surroundings until her eyes met his gaze. His deep blue eyes, like the ocean, glimmered with a mysterious light as they watched her intently. In that moment, it felt like a bolt of lightning struck her mind. Everything was new, strange, and full of wonder. "Who are you?" Zara asked, her eyes wide with surprise, the lingering confusion still evident in her voice. Her words echoed in the quiet of the beach, as though even the sea breeze had paused to listen. The young man smiled gently, showing neither alarm nor tension. "Xavier," he replied, his voice calm but carrying a steady resolve that Zara felt immediately. "Prince of the Ocean Kingdom." At first, Zara couldn't believe what she was hearing. A prince? From where? A kingdom beneath the sea? She shook her head, trying to dismiss the surreal feeling, but his words seemed to weave a spell, drawing her into another world where anything was possible. How could it be? A prince of the ocean? A tale she had heard only from the elders in her village, but never imagined she would become a part of herself. Though still skeptical, Zara began to recognize something important. Xavier had no intention of harming her. That realization came swiftly, and she felt safer than she ever had before. From his gentle gaze and calm demeanor, Zara realized that the one who had saved her was no stranger but someone of immense courage and kindness she could scarcely imagine. She raised her hand, glancing at the droplets of water on his skin, silently wondering to herself, "The Ocean Kingdom, what is it?" The question grew louder in her heart, like a whirlpool she couldn't escape. While Xavier remained silent, watching her with gentle yet enigmatic eyes, Zara felt a strange connection between them, a bond she couldn't yet understand but also couldn't ignore. "We come from two different worlds," Xavier said softly, breaking the silence. "But I believe that sometimes the most unusual connections can bring about the most remarkable changes." His words stirred something new in Zara, a feeling she had never experienced before. Though he was the heir to a vast kingdom beneath the ocean's depths, Xavier's gaze carried warmth, a presence that made her feel at ease and peaceful. Zara didn't know it yet, but from that moment, her life would never be the same, not just because Xavier had saved her, but because of the secret friendship that had blossomed between them, a bond they would have to keep hidden, a friendship bridging two completely different worlds, between a human girl and a prince of the ocean. From then on, every time Zara returned to the beach, she always felt a presence, a distant gaze from the ocean, as though someone was watching over her. And Xavier, though a prince of the sea, couldn't stop thinking about the girl he had saved, their conversations, the unanswered questions, and the inexplicable bond he couldn't understand. The friendship between Zara and Xavier began as a simple, quiet connection, but gradually deepened into something more profound and complex. They met on cool afternoons by deserted beaches, where only the waves and the whispers of the wind bore witness. Their conversations turned to tales of the ocean, life beneath the waves, and mysteries neither had ever imagined. Though uncertain of what the future might hold, both Zara and Xavier felt that, in this moment, they had found a connection no one could break. And that, no matter how extraordinary, was enough to ignite in them a powerful belief in friendship and the incredible wonders that awaited them. Since the day they first met, the bond between Xavier and Zara had grown strong and deeply meaningful. Every time Zara set foot on the beach, she could feel Xavier's mysterious presence. He never appeared suddenly, but always emerged gradually and quietly, like a phantom rising from the ocean depths. Yet miraculously, they always found each other, as if everything had been predestined. Despite being the prince of the sea, Xavier never felt out of place when he was with Zara. On the contrary, this girl with eyes bright like stars in the sky, with her stories about her village, the joyful festivals, and the tall trees standing steadfast in the center, became a great source of encouragement for him. Zara couldn't stop telling Xavier about her village. She described the colorful festivals where everyone gathered to dance, laugh, and revel in the long evenings. She spoke of the towering trees reaching toward the heavens, like gods protecting the villagers. Each time Zara spoke about her village, her eyes lit up, brimming with pride and affection. She wanted Xavier to understand that although her life wasn't wealthy, it was full of colour and meaning, a life deeply connected to nature and community. These stories flowed freely, but they weren't just the tales of a girl reminiscing about her home. They painted a vivid world, a part of her life that Zara wanted to share with Xavier as a precious gift. In return, Xavier shared wondrous tales that Zara could never have imagined. He spoke of radiant coral castles beneath the ocean, home to strange sea creatures that had existed for centuries. Massive whales, mighty sharks, and even tiny unknown creatures, shimmering fish in vibrant colours, and mythical beings unheard of on land. Xavier's stories transported Zara to an entirely new world, a world without limits, without walls to confine freedom. He shared not only the wonders of the ocean, but also his deep emotions, the solitude of a prince living amidst a kingdom that could never fully grasp the connection between humans and the sea. Their conversations grew increasingly intimate, and their shared moments became indispensable to their daily lives. They began to realize that this relationship, despite their many differences, was something truly unique. A person from the land and a prince from the ocean's depths shared an understanding so profound, a friendship that no one could break. Though they couldn't always see each other in the physical world, they felt each other's presence constantly, like the ever-echoing waves as if the ocean itself sang a soothing melody for them. However, even as their relationship blossomed into something beautiful and sweet, not everyone was pleased. A water spirit named Moma, a being long cast out, watched them from afar with unrelenting malice. Moma was no ordinary spirit. Once a creature of the sea, a soul of the ocean, her desire to become human had led to her punishment. Though she had tried to escape her destiny, she was banished from the ocean's realm, cast away from the places she had longed to belong. Over centuries, jealousy and anger had burned within her. And now, seeing the powerful connection between Zara and Xavier, Moma could bear it no longer. Moma wasn't just envious of their bond, she also felt a profound injustice. She couldn't accept that a girl from the land could possess things she had once dreamed of. Freedom, life, and, most of all, a connection with Xavier, someone Moma had once desired. Determined that if she couldn't have these things, no one else would, Moma began plotting. She sought to separate Xavier and Zara, pulling them back to what she deemed the rightful order of things, a world where no bond could exist between the land and the sea. One quiet evening, as Xavier and Zara sat by the shore talking, Moma emerged from the shadows like a dark wave. Her form was strange and indeterminate, neither fully human nor entirely marine. She approached Zara, her voice dripping with venomous deceit. "Can't you see?" Moma sneered. "You're playing with fire. You'll only bring danger upon yourself. Humans like you can never understand the bond between Xavier and the ocean. You'll make him abandon his kingdom, and everything will end in disaster." Her words hit Zara like blows to the mind, filling her with self-doubt. Was she truly endangering Xavier? Xavier, sensing Moma's presence, had no choice but to confront her, though fear crept into his heart. He knew Moma was no ordinary adversary. She was a powerful spirit, a being he didn't fully understand. And no matter how strong his bond with Zara was, he feared it might not be enough to withstand Moma's wrath. Could the friendship between Xavier and Zara overcome this challenge? How would a relationship between a human and the Prince of the Ocean fare when faced with Moma's determination to destroy everything? These questions hung in the air, their answers waiting to be unraveled, with only time revealing the truth. On a foggy day shrouding the California coastline, the waves lapped against the shore in a melancholy rhythm, as if the ocean itself sensed Xavier's unease. He stood alone on a large rock, his eyes scanning the vast sea, where the dim sunlight was slowly obscured by thick clouds. At that moment, Xavier began to feel something was amiss, a strange sensation he had never experienced before. His bond with Zara, once beautiful and sincere, no longer seemed as simple as it had in the beginning. Just then, from the distance, a peculiar silhouette swam toward him, gliding silently across the water like a phantom, leaving no sound in its wake. It was Moma, but not in her original form. Instead, she appeared as an ancient turtle, with a hard shell and a body curling and twisting like a creature from centuries past. Moma, a powerful and vengeful sea spirit, had now surfaced before Xavier, her presence both menacing and imposing. Tales of her had been whispered through the waves, but no one truly understood her nature. "Come closer, Xavier," Moma said, her voice cold and sharp, like crashing waves in a storm. "I have something to tell you." Xavier turned to face her, his sharp gaze fixed on the old turtle. A chill ran down his spine. Moma was not a being to be underestimated. Though banished from the underwater kingdom long ago, her appearance had not changed, and her words were always laden with danger. "Humans, especially Zara, cannot be trusted," Moma continued, her eyes piercing into Xavier's mind. "She isn't who you think she is. Her people, those humans on land, they want to hunt you down. They believe you're a dangerous spirit, and they will capture you to perform a vile ritual." Each word from Moma was like a sharp dagger stabbing into Xavier's heart. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Zara, the girl he had trusted, the one with whom he had built a secret bond, could she be hiding something from him? The stories she had told him about her village, the festivals, the towering trees, could they have been lies concealing a dark agenda? No, that's impossible. Xavier shook his head, his voice filled with worry but also doubt. "Zara is my friend. She would never do that." Moma smirked maliciously, as if she had been waiting for this reaction. "Do you really think a human can truly understand you? You are a creature of the sea, and we do not belong to their world. Zara is part of that world, and people always fear what they cannot understand. She may not intend to harm you, but the others, they will not think the same." Moma's words stirred a storm within Xavier. It felt as though the entire ocean around him was in upheaval. Everything suddenly seemed uncertain and full of risk. Was it possible that Zara was merely using him? Or was she truly just a simple girl, as he had believed? Xavier was confused, overwhelmed by a growing sense of mistrust. He wanted to deny it, to hold on to his faith in their bond, but part of him couldn't dispel the doubts that were creeping in. "Zara might not have told you the whole truth," Moma continued, her voice chilling like a cold breeze. "And if you don't act now, those humans will come for you, and no one will be able to save you." Xavier felt as though he was standing at a crossroads, where every decision could lead to a vastly different outcome. He couldn't understand why a sea spirit like Moma would approach him, why she would warn him about Zara. This relationship, this friendship, could it even survive in a world so full of contradictions? Or would he have to choose between his friendship with Zara and his own safety? Every thought, every word from Moma seemed to erode the trust Xavier had carefully built over time. He looked at Moma, his mind in turmoil, as questions began to swirl. Was Zara truly deceiving him? Were her village's people really planning to capture him? He couldn't afford to risk his life, but was trusting Moma the right decision. "Zara isn't your enemy," Moma asserted, though her voice was laced with icy disdain. "But she cannot protect you from dangers she doesn't understand. You are the prince of the ocean. You cannot live between these two worlds forever." Moma's words, filled with all the scheming and dark intentions she harbored, planted an unshakable seed of doubt in Xavier's mind. How could he continue this relationship if everything began to feel so uncertain? How could he be sure that Zara wasn't hiding something? Xavier turned away, his eyes clouded with distress. Fear, suspicion, and a vague sense of loneliness clung to him. Could he still trust Zara, or was this all part of a dangerous game he was unwittingly caught in? Moma knew she had sown the seeds of doubt in Xavier's mind. She smiled with satisfaction as she saw the confusion in his eyes. But this was just the beginning. Moma, with the patience of an eternal being, understood that this would not end easily. And amid the darkened waves, only time could provide Xavier with the answers to all his questions. The bond between Xavier and Zara was now at the brink of a harrowing trial. And now, Xavier had to decide, would he continue to trust the only friend he had found in this world, or would he turn his back and heed the warnings of a vengeful sea spirit? The sea looked different today, the waves no longer gentle and soothing, but instead wild and restless, as if the ocean were harbouring a dark secret. Xavier's mind was clouded by Moma's words, and doubt had taken root in his heart. He kept his distance from Zara, avoiding the beach where they usually met. Days of silence passed, each one cutting deeper into Zara's heart, like a sharp blade. She couldn't understand why Xavier, her saviour and friend, had suddenly disappeared without explanation. In the village, rumours spread like wildfire. Moma, in some cunning way, had whispered tales into the ears of the villagers about a dangerous water spirit lurking nearby. Her words, combined with humanity's instinctive fear of the unknown, quickly sparked panic. The villagers began preparing a hunt, determined to find and destroy the creature they believed was a threat. They set traps along the shore, armed with nets and weapons, their eyes filled with both fear and resolute determination. In her desperate search for Xavier, Zara overheard these plans. Her heart sank like a stone. She knew Xavier wasn't the danger the villagers feared, but how could she explain this when he was no longer there to defend himself? Refusing to let fear paralyze her, Zara resolved to find Xavier before the villagers did something irrevocable. She ran to the beach, where the waves continued to rise and crash, her eyes scanning desperately for his familiar figure. And then, like a miracle, she saw him standing alone on a large rock, staring out at the vast ocean. But he was no longer the Xavier she had known. His eyes, once warm and full of curiosity, now held suspicion and coldness. "Xavier!" Zara called out, her voice echoing above the crashing waves. She ran toward him, but as she approached, his gaze made her stop in her tracks. It was not the look of a friend, but of someone searching for the truth in a storm of doubt. "Zara," he said, his voice low and guarded. "Why are you here? Did you come to lead them to me?" His question cut through Zara's heart like a knife. "Lead them? Xavier, what are you saying? I came to warn you. The villagers, yet they're planning to hunt you because of the lies someone has planted in their minds." "And I'm supposed to believe you?" Xavier replied, his voice like an impending storm. "Moma was right, wasn't she? Humans can't be trusted. From the very beginning, you've been part of this scheme, haven't you?" "No," Zara cried out, her eyes filled with both anger and pain. "I would never hurt you, Xavier. I risked everything to warn you, and this is how you repay me? Look at me. Who do you think I am?" Before Xavier could respond, a chilling laugh echoed, as if the ocean's darkness itself had found a voice. From the waves, a figure began to emerge. It was Moma, but no longer the seemingly harmless old turtle. This was her true form, a terrifying water spirit, her body undulating like the waves and her eyes as black and deep as the ocean's abyss. The dim light of the setting sun only amplified her menacing appearance. "Enough, young ones," Moma said, her voice booming like waves crashing in a storm. "I've been waiting for this moment. Xavier, you do not belong to her. You do not belong to the humans. If I cannot have you, then no one will." Her words left Xavier stunned and Zara momentarily frozen, but Zara quickly regained her composure, her eyes burning with determination. "You're not alone, Xavier," she said, her voice cutting through the sound of the waves. "Fight her! You're the prince of the ocean. You're stronger than you think." Xavier, though still hesitant, felt something shift within him. He looked at Zara, sensing the sincerity in her every word. He doubted no more. This was not a time for fear or retreat. "All right," he said, his eyes lighting up once more. "We'll do this together." And so, the battle began. Moma summoned colossal waves, trying to drown them both. But Zara, though not a sea creature, refused to back down. She grabbed Xavier's hand, forming an unbreakable bond. "We won't let her win," she said, her voice fueling his strength. Xavier, drawing upon the power of his royal lineage, began to summon sea creatures to aid them. Dolphins, turtles, and even mystical beings Zara had never seen appeared to fight alongside them. A fierce and dramatic battle unfolded in the heart of the ocean, with radiant beams of Xavier's power illuminating the darkness Moma brought. In the end, through the courage of Zara and Xavier's might, Moma was defeated. Her spirit's power dissolved into the waves, and the ocean returned to its calm state once more. Xavier turned to Zara, his eyes now filled with gratitude and admiration. "Thank you," he said, his voice soft but meaningful. "I was wrong to doubt you. You've proven that humans can be far more trustworthy than I ever thought." Zara smiled, though her eyes still glimmered with sadness. "We fought together, Xavier, and I'll always believe in you, no matter where you are." The battle was over, but between them, a new bond had been forged, stronger than ever. Now both knew that despite coming from two different worlds, they would always be companions, never abandoning one another, no matter how fierce the storms ahead. As the sun began to set, painting the sky and ocean in shades of crimson, the villagers stood silently on the shore, awestruck by what they had just witnessed. The battle between Xavier, Zara, and Moma had left an indelible mark on their hearts. The once furious waves that had lashed the beach were now calm, as if the ocean itself bowed in reverence to the strength and bravery of the two. The villagers, who had once been consumed by fear and doubt, now realized that Xavier was not their enemy. He was not the dangerous water spirit of the rumors. Instead, he was a protector, a hero who had fought to defend not only the ocean, but also the human world. They couldn't fathom how a being from another realm had risked everything for a girl and a small village. An elder from the village, who had been the first to warn of danger from the sea, stepped forward. She looked at Xavier with regret in her eyes and said, "We were wrong. We let fear cloud our judgment and forgot that sometimes differences can be the greatest source of strength." Her words were a heartfelt apology, not just from herself, but from the entire village. Standing beside Xavier, Zara was filled with gratitude and pride. She turned to the villagers, her gaze firm and unwavering, and said, "Xavier is not just my friend. He is proof that we can overcome our differences, that courage and genuine friendship can conquer all hatred." Her words brought a profound silence over the village, but this time it wasn't fear that kept them quiet. It was respect and understanding. Xavier, moved by the villagers' change of heart, knew that his time on land had come to an end. He didn't belong to this world. Though he and Zara had built a unique bond, the ocean was his home, the place he had to return to. Turning to Zara, his eyes softened with warmth and sadness. "Zara," he said, his voice gentle, like the waves caressing the shore, "I must go back, but I want you to remember, no matter how far apart we are, our friendship will never fade." From his sleeve, Xavier drew out a small seashell, shimmering with a soft light like moonlight. He placed it in Zara's hands, his gaze locked on hers, as if he wanted to etch this moment into his heart forever. "Keep this," he said. "Whenever you think of me, just hold it close. I'll always be with you." Zara clutched the shell, tears streaming down her cheeks. She said nothing, but her eyes conveyed 1,000 unspoken words of gratitude and promises. As Xavier stepped into the water, his figure slowly disappeared into the dim light of the sunset. Zara stood there watching until he was completely absorbed by the ocean. Behind her, the villagers silently bore witness to the moment, understanding they had experienced something miraculous, a profound lesson in bravery, kindness, and friendship that transcended all boundaries. Zara held the shell tightly in her hand, feeling the warmth it seemed to radiate. Though heartbroken by Xavier's departure, she knew their connection wasn't bound by physical presence, but by the memories and the bond they shared. Turning to face the villagers, her voice rang out strong and inspiring. We've learned today that differences are not something to fear. They are an opportunity for us to grow stronger together. We must protect the ocean, the place Xavier and so many others fought for. Zara returned to the village, but every day she would visit the beach, sitting on the familiar rocks, listening to the sound of the waves and waiting for the day Xavier might return. The glowing shell remained by her side, a constant reminder of the beautiful friendship that had changed her life forever. The story of Xavier and Zara is not just a tale of a magical bond between two worlds, but a valuable lesson about courage, acceptance, and the power of unity. What do you think about this story? If you had a friend from a completely different world, what would you do to protect that bond? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. Who knows? In the next installment, we might discover whether Xavier ever returns to meet Zara again. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in part 2 of these ongoing tales. If you are an African American, share this story with your friends, family, and loved ones across the United States to preserve the culture and history of these folkloric tales.